We are recording, and I will now play the intro, and then we will be ready to go.
No, I've always said I can't be Stevie Nicks. I'm just a generic nonsense look-alike.
Okay, Anne Manginson is on our guest list, wish list.
For
sure.
That would be awesome. And yes, we're going to do an episode about what that is one day.
Yes, we are. There's a lot of history behind that particular quote. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the generic, non-specific Stevie Nicks podcast. I'm your co-host, Randy.
And I'm Anthony. Nice to be here. Nice to be seen.
And Anthony, we have a very special guest here today, don't we?
Well, first we have Mr. Padfoot, who's sleeping behind, not participating.
Yes.
And our special guest today is former Vice President of the United States, environmental activist, internet inventor, and because he's mentioned it over a dozen times a day, expert in presidential elections, Mr. Al Gore. And Al is actually using my desktop computer right now. He is just straightening out my inbox and, doing internet things for me. So we'll have him on shortly, everybody. But, large applause for Mr. Al Gore.
Thank you very much. Al was actually on stage with Fleetwood Mac during the inauguration. So I'm sure he has some juicy details to share later.
He's fat. What the fuck?
What? Oh, no, ma'am.
Later, Mr. Internet.
That's it. When he's done, he has to clean out my browser history too.
Okay.
Rude. Well, we had so much fun with Belladonna, and now we get to dive into The Wild Heart, which is Stevie's second solo album. You can stream it on all platforms. It's part of the Complete Solo Albums and Rarities collection from Rhino. Less than 250 of the vinyl box sets left. So if you want to get one, and we have an extra.
That we will soon be announcing the contest and the rules and how to participate to win for your very, very own.
That's right. The Wild Heart was released on June 10th of 1983. It charted number 5 on the Billboard album charts and stayed on the charts for over a year. So that was awesome. It was there for a very, very long time with some help from some specific tracks we'll get into. And this was the first Stevie solo tour that went on for ever. It went on for 9 months or so, and she only got to tour Belladonna for about 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, right. And she would have gone longer, but again, she was still doing that threading back and forth between her and Fleetwood Mac. But yeah. I saw that tour. I was there. I went.
Was that your first ever Stevie concert?
I think it was. I think I started seeing Fleetwood Mac concerts. No, I saw Fleetwood Mac before that once.
Okay.
Fleetwood Mac, right? And then I saw Stevie, and then I started going to both every time they were in town.
Right. So do you remember which Fleetwood Mac tour it was?
It had to be, well, what was that? It wasn't the first. It had to be after Rumors.
Okay.
It was between 77 and 90 and 81, right? So I'd have to go look at the dates and maybe I could put it back together. I don't have a ticket for that one.
I bet it was a Tusk tour stop then, because that one was also a very long tour.
It was probably, because I think I've joked with you before about the 18-minute drum solo vest thing.
Yeah.
I think that started with Tusk, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. It was this was when she really got to go out there. And I cannot believe that we did that entire episode last week and did not talk about Gold and Braid and the Hee Haw dance. I'm really upset about that.
I get up and no, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's okay. It gives us a reason to go back and do a Stevie live performances.
And Redux, yes. Belladonna Redux. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what do you think of this album?
Well, we started last week. I just want to say, so I was 19.
Hmm.
I would turn 20 later that year when it was released. And I said about Belladonna that was like coming of age. This
Yeah.
is where I arrived.
Okay.
This album meant so much to me, Randy. First, I want to back up. When I was listening, I was listening to it yesterday on the vinyl to, refresh everything. And I loved it. I was singing every single syllable like we can.
Yep.
And I thought about it as I was reading the songs. I kind of was like, wait, that song's on this album? And that song's on. I sort of have the reaction I have when you watch certain Seinfeld episodes and there's like the 3-4 subplots, and each of them are the most classic subplot. And you're like, wait, all of these incredible stories were in the one episode? And that's how I was feeling as I was listening to it yesterday. I was starting to remember some of the way lesser known songs, and going,
right.
That was a great song. Wait, that was here? I don't know why I thought it was another album or.
Yeah. I kind of had the same thing where some of the deep cuts.
Yeah.
I was like, why do I never put this song on a playlist?
Same
right?
Blonde. I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? Yeah.
Right.
That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So let's just jump right into the title track, which again, we have an epic album opener. I mean, it is a first cousin to Belladonna. It is Belladonna going crazy, right? And again, with what you said last week of this operatic, epic mythology, and you can tell she's going through some stuff, right? Like
yes.
she is going through some stuff. It's a breakup song, and you don't I don't know the melody and the instrumentation and the mix and how the track is assembled. It seems like this joyous, bouncy song, and it's fun to kind of bop along to. But when you get into the lyrics, right at the very top, something in my heart died last night.
Right. This is not right. Anyone who thought this was a bouncy song wasn't listening at the beginning.
Right. Right.
Like I always think of this song with the analogy of, and I don't want to use this word because of the witch thing, but as a giant cauldron.
Okay.
Starts out barely, the liquid is hot, but it's just starting to simmer. And by the end, it's a full boil.
Right.
And every layer of the vocals and the background singers and the different parts of the music is another bubble just rising up and popping. And I don't know if that's like, if I'm being ridiculous, but that's how I hear this song. I see that visual in my head when I listen to it. It just comes to a boil.
It makes sense for a couple of reasons. As you know, my favorite Shakespeare play is Macbeth. I love Macbeth, and we're going to talk about why some other time. But you've got the three witches from Macbeth right here on the cover, and so the cauldron analogy is so perfect for this song, for this album, really, because this album, even though it doesn't have like I wouldn't say it has a country song on it or anything, but it's still an amalgamation of different styles. Although I think it's more 80s.
Be characterized as rock or anything.
No.
Yeah, it's everything.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not even opera, but it's in there too. Yeah. It's in the cauldron, right?
Yeah, it is. I found it interesting that I don't hear guitar. I mean, I know there's guitar in it, but you don't hear it. This is a piano driven song.
Right.
And I love that. And I love, that every iteration of this song. I love that there's the dressing room demo that all of the fans
background
love.
singers,
yeah,
sitting there getting their makeup on,
right, and
she's
Annie Leibovitz is there
applied while she's singing it,
right. And that's the first place where this album has a direct touchstone to Mirage, which is the Fleetwood Mac album she had just finished, right?
Okay.
Because the dressing room demo is her singing The Wild Heart over the instrumentation to Can't Go Back, I believe.
I did not.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you listen to Can't Go Back, you can hear it. And that's one of two places where there's these touchstones to how this.
That's Lindsey Buckingham, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Both.
I'll be right. No,
Right. We'll be right back after a short Lindsey Buckingham guitar solo.
Right.
Right. But I just love it. And I love that we got to see it live in 2016.
Yes. Together.
That was amazing. Together. And that was awesome. I wish she had done the whole song, but I'm okay with what she did.
Yeah. See, like I said, this, coming of age and all that. This was, fearlessness is fearlessness, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the year. I'm going to probably start crying, viewers and listeners and Randy's. I'm going to try not to, but that was the year. That year was the year that I dared myself to stop being so meek. Literally, I was thinking about stuff and I was like, I need to be bolder. And that came out of Edge of 17 and Belladonna, right? I made a list of things that I was afraid to do, like speak in public or go on vacation alone or stuff. So I made myself take acting classes. Randy knows I appeared in like plays.
Yes.
I took public speaking. I published poetry I wrote. I traveled alone. I went to clubs alone. I don't know how I'm not dead. Some of the things I did. I was so but so that song, this song is, Belladonna started it, this song finished it, and then a track we're going to talk about later bolded it, underlined it, circled it, and put the period at the end. This song made me, period. I like when I was listening to it, when I heard her say, "Don't blame it on us," it was like the first time again I heard it, because I was like, yes, girl, us, you're talking about me too. And I love, and I'm not going to try to sing it. You can try, and Randy, I can't do it. That part where she says, "Blame it on the angels," and angels has like 7 syllables.
Yes, I know that part.
Every single time,
Yeah. I love that even after 30 years, we still learn new things about each other. And, the things that we've known each other for so long, but I didn't know. You knew 17-year-old Randy. I didn't know 17-year-old Anthony.
No.
And so anytime I get to hear about,
I was already baked by the time I met
right,
you.
Right. I can't imagine you not being fearless. I can't imagine you not being bold. And that was something that was so important to me when we met, and was such an inspiration. And so to hear how you got there, just, it just makes me so proud of you again. And it really makes me feel like that was your purpose, was to make me who I am. So, okay.
This song helped me become who I am. And this is not an exaggeration, people who are listening. Not at all. And like, what I hear is, "Damn my wild heart, bitch," because I walked up. That's how I executed.
Right. Oh, and also there's a really good like outtake version of this from the Wild Heart release, the deluxe release, where it's where she screams, "In the back, in the back, in the back, in the back of your wild heart." And again, we're talking about her songwriting, but her vocal delivery for these is just so intense.
Note for future, we're going to do an episode about the parts you have to turn volume up to 13 to hear.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Because that's one of the things that I loved about her, especially when I was younger and didn't have like the liner notes or everything, and you would just have your ear to the speaker trying to figure out what the hell she was saying. And then you'd come up with your own lyrics. And sometimes those made up lyrics uh, maybe related to you too, because of whatever you were going through.
You were interpreting it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's still like, you talk about an amazing way to open this album,
Yeah.
right? It's
That
like
cauldron bubbling and boiling and everything coming. Wait till you hear what's next.
Yes, yep. And what comes next? Did anyone call the plot?
Only you and I.
Nobody's going to know
We're
what
gonna
that
do
means.
that. That's another episode.
Right,
I'm sure
yeah.
People listening are like, could you do the episode now and not talk about the future one?
Yeah. No, gotta wait, kids.
It's
Gotta wait,
interesting. This
kids.
was one of the singles, and I knew it did really well.
Yes.
It's a meh for me. It always was a meh for me. Maybe because it's co-written with Sandy Stewart. It's not, after Wild Heart, I was like,
It's a it's
fine.
I'm the same way. It's kind of fine. I like the video only because of Stevie and Mick Fleetwood walking across the set while Sandy Stewart is playing the organ.
Yeah.
I like
the video was cute and I enjoyed it. Yeah. But the organ music, I'm sure they thought that was so cool, and all I could think of was Grinder Monkeys and
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
But because of that video, I will never go to a carnival or a circus or anything where there's a carousel and not jump on the carousel and start singing that song. So, but other than that, yeah, it's fine.
Right. But I don't, maybe I see your shadow against the wall. I love that lyric. I always thought it was really cool. It's good. It's not.
Yeah. I think this is the first track where we start talking about filler, because there was no filler on Belladonna, and filler on the tracks. Oh my God, we're writing new parody lyrics as we do this. That's awesome. That's so cool. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. But then, okay, so let's jump ahead. Let's go to Gate and Garden.
That's one of the Seinfeld tracks. It's
right.
one of the masterpieces that I'm like, wait, that could have been the lead on a whole album. That was here? Yeah.
And it starts off, and I think this is where I do myself a disservice, because it starts off so kind of low and quiet and soft, and it feels like it's going to be a ballad. And so that's the point that I would skip it on like a digital, like iTunes or anything. But when I sat down and I listened to it and it starts to build, you find yourself kind of moving along to it, and your body starts to respond to the music. And then you start listening to the lyrics, and, again, it's another song where she does this world building, and there's this, it continues this the breakup that started with the Wild Heart.
And there's literally ironic. To me, a lot of Stevie's lyrics are ironic, because like, do I love you? Well, I always did. I don't know if she really means that. It's almost like she means the opposite.
Yeah.
That was the way I heard it. I don't know if you agree.
Well, no, it depends on my mood, because I could hear it of her, just like in the Wild Heart, walking away from this relationship and kind of blaming it on herself and her feelings and whatever. But I can also hear it from the other side of her pleading with someone to stay. If you're questioning my love, maybe pleading's not the right word, but
I'm hearing it. I've always heard it differently, in that, do I love you? Well, I did till you messed up.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you that. You don't even deserve that news.
No.
See, I always have Stevie mad.
Well, her anger songs, there's always some anger, I think, in every song somewhere, for sure.
Speaking of, did she mean the line? I don't know if we're ready to move on to it yet.
Well, do we have anything else to say about Gate Garden? It's a fun song. Listen to it.
I like it. Yes,
Yeah,
it is primo, and
yeah,
I forgot about it. Kind of. I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I
I
have to listen to this more
totally,
often. Yeah.
totally forgot about it. Okay, so Enchanted.
I don't think she hopes he makes it. I think she's just being Midwest nice.
You think she's being Midwest nice?
Yeah.
I don't, because I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, Stevie, whatever her, because she tends to be, with few exceptions, friends with her exes, or at least workmates with her
Yeah.
exes. Like, I got to go to rehearsal
She's
with
got
this
one
guy.
guy, I think.
Yeah. Um, but I always think she wants the best for everybody. You know, you may have broken my heart. I may be really mad about it right now, and I'm gonna write a telling song about you, but I hope you make it. Um, but I also, okay, so this song is a sister song to Golden Braid. I
Oh,
think
okay.
absolutely. I think in terms of structure, in terms of the way that it is performed, I can see a hee haw dance with it. You know, it's got the same kind of boppy vibe to it, um, and it's but it's a much more fun song on the record than it is live. Like
Okay.
the energy on the live performances isn't quite there. But this is also a touchstone to Mirage, because there's a jam session with Fleetwood Mac out there where they're jamming to Eyes of the World, and
Okay.
there's not really any vocals on it at all. They're just, I don't know if they're warming up or whatever they're doing, um, but it's definitely Eyes of the World. And in the background, you can hear Stevie saying, "I hope you make it." Like, she works it in there like every once in a while. And then
I
I,
don't think she wants. The reason I don't think she means it is that it's just I feel like the this line is delivered very shadily. Is it's a shame that you wanted me, but you didn't try.
you didn't try.
So then I'm like, I hope you make it, but I really don't care. That's how I
Yeah,
hear it. But we're allowed, right?
we are allowed. Yeah. But it's a really fun song. And yeah, I think it's interesting that I can sing it along to Eyes of the World, to that instrumental
Okay,
track,
gotcha.
which is a lot of fun.
I
And
have
then
to look that out. Yeah, seek that out.
Stevie does that to somebody else's song on side two, but we'll get to that in a
We're
moment.
almost there. I
Yes.
can't hear that though. We'll talk about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I totally can. I totally can.
You can
Um,
help me.
but yeah, Enchanted is a really fun. It's an air tambourine song for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's a
Uh,
fun joint.
and
Oh, yeah. Nice beat. Yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting that she kind of redoes it on Street Angel as a very slow kind of dirge with the same lyrics, and just changes
On what?
on Street Angel.
Wait, on what? Speaking of Raven,
Speaking of Raven, all right, now we get into Nightbird.
yes.
Oh my God. That is such an amazing song. So take it away, Anthony.
So first of all, this she sang this live on Saturday Night Live
Yes, she
and on
did.
Solid Gold. And if you those who don't know the story, Solid Gold was about lip syncing and doing the
Yeah.
studio. And Stevie was like, "What? No,
Mm-mm.
no, Stevie Nicks does not lip sync biatches." And so
Yeah.
we had to do considerable work to set up a place for her to have musicians and actually perform the
Yep.
song on Solid Gold, which is "You Go Stevie." So that's really interesting. And I always remember, was it Flip Wilson was the host?
Yes.
And
Flip
he said,
Wilson.
some people are beauty queens, and I forget the second part. Some
Oh
people are beauty
God.
queens, and some people are something else. This next artist is both. And it was really complimentary.
Yeah.
A brain fart, but it was really cool. But yes, I heard this song the first time. Flip, this is still side one. It's ending side one,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm listening to the album the first time I got it, and I'm like, this is about Raven. This is about the Teen Titans character. I just totally like. You can't tell me it's not. She must read the comic book,
Yeah.
And I love the song. It means a lot to me. The whole, I don't know. I was still, though I was becoming, still wasn't fully baked. And, I don't know. I was kind of a weird kid by others people's,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
other people's definitions. And I don't know, this song made me feel like I wasn't.
Yeah.
I belonged,
What specifically, which lyric hit home the most in that
Um,
song? I'm going to consult my lyric sheet.
I wore a cape back then.
Yes, you did.
A
I remember you telling me that.
black cape.
Did you wear it to school?
No, it was I was out of school, so I was working in a department store
Okay.
in Center City, Philly, and
Uh-huh.
I wore a cape, black cape to work, and Stevie Nicks buttons all over it. And that was before the song, so I was like,
Yeah.
I pulled my cape round me tight or whatever. I can't remember exactly the lyric, but yeah.
There
I do not wear eye makeup dark and careless, but I do wear boots a lot.
all summer long.
Awesome.
That's a lyric that it's a more, I don't know how to put this, a more intense Stevie fan that's familiar with her, her more than her hits, because anybody can sing just like the wide winged dove, right? But when somebody says I wear boots all summer long, you're like,
Right.
I see my tribe, right?
Here you go. Here's the lyric. Capes pulled round them tight, crying for the night, cried for the night bird tonight. And that hit home.
This is a goth kids song, and I went through that as well.
It wasn't exactly goth. I was just, who the hell am I? It was a little sad,
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be sad. And God damn it, I was going to do something about it.
Well, it's that age, and again, I was 10 years old when this came out, so I still look at it from the lens of my teenage years when I really kind of discovered the whole album.
Yeah.
And teenagers are just so intense anyway. Everything is world ending, right? Every crisis is a crisis. Everything
Wait,
is
that's
just
not true still?
yeah. But this album speaks to that because this album is intense. My grandmother had this like sheer black poncho kind of thing with gold embroidery lining, and I nicked it from her and took it home. And I remember this was the first time I'd ever like been able to see like Fleetwood Mac live, because they had that Mirage concert on HBO, and I went to. So I was a horrible child. I nicked that poncho, and then I nicked the VHS. Like I checked it out from like the video rental store and never brought it back.
Did what you needed to do.
I did what I needed to do, and I would sit there and watch her singing Rhiannon with the thing on and twirl and just all of the things. But then when I discovered Nightbird, that became my poncho wearing song. But
okay.
because of the cape, because of boots all summer long, all of that stuff, and absolutely Raven. It was so Raven. Will you walk gently through my shadow?
My soul self. Right.
Right. I mean, the whole song is about Raven, and it always was. And I was so happy when we started writing letters that the first letter you wrote me said that. And I was like, of course it is. Yes, of course. You're absolutely right. So yes.
And just a public service announcement for our listeners, our viewers. Wonder Woman spins, Stevie Nicks twirls, and we won't hear anything else. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes. That wraps up side one. Before we do anything else, how's Al doing over there on the computer?
He said he got done mine, and he's now doing your inbox and your internet history. Waste wild. I don't know what. Just click it and see, Al. Just click it.
Yeah, no.
Delete that one out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So does
You
Al have
invented the
any?
internet. I don't want to hear it.
Right. If you don't know how to do it, then don't
You
make me.
internet porn. You shouldn't have made the internet.
Thank you very much, Al.
WQ made it clear to us that's what the internet's for.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it did. Thank you, Avenue Q. All right. Before we jump on to side 2, we have a sponsor this week with the American Heart Association, and they are going to do a public service announcement, and we'll be right back.
And I'll cut it.
Yep. All right.
Now, do you want to wear your shawl or no?
No. I think you're right. We do all of that with Anthony and Randy go to Dallas.
So let's mention. I don't know if I can do it. Say, like you. I don't know. I will say to you, when did you realize that Stevie had a specific shawl for specific songs? I'll work into this.
Yeah.
Then you can mention this, but we won't.
Yeah. I
can put a picture of the stand back shawl, her wearing it, and I can edit
right.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because I want to do some more like editing of like the cover of the new Teen Titans and like stuff in there.
Okay.
But
oh,
right,
I forgot. I'm so sorry.
What?
I forgot to do that in the one I just uploaded.
No, that's fine because I've got it on the blog.
Okay.
I put it on the blog. Okay. So.
But you asked me to do it, and I did forget. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I forgot I asked you, but all right. And we're back, folks, and it is time. Actually, it's time to stand back, isn't it?
Take me. Oh, I am home.
Yeah. You're already home. Okay. This.
What did she say? She's okay. First of all, Stevie tells 18 different stories about this one song right over. But I know I've seen an audio interview where she said, "I know not from where Stand Back came."
Yeah.
And I don't either, but thank God it came.
Yes.
This was my song.
Oh my God. So did you hear the song?
Sneaking into the nightclubs, and the DJ I would hear them, and I would, people had rug burns on their faces. So people in the bar, but I was getting to the dance floor to dance to this song. And like I said, the Wild Heart was like the bubbling cauldron that started it all. This was the definition for who I was going to become in a way.
Oh yeah.
Because now rejection, well, fuck you.
Right.
Excuse my language.
I don't accept your rejection. I'm gonna move on,
Right.
So did you hear it before the album came out, or did you hear it after the album came out? Do you remember?
I think I heard it on the radio, and I think that's what made me aware that the album had come out. So I got it. It's I believe I remember going, it's not out yet. It'll be out in a week. Okay, is it here now? Is it here now? Is it here now?
Right.
Now they're like, oh God, here it again.
Here he is.
So with the cape again,
Yeah. And this was the first time that Stevie like appeared in the dance clubs, right? And I mean, this was way before remixes and mashups and everything. So this was the first like dance hit that she ever had, which was awesome. So for those of you that don't know, Stevie got married the day that she wrote this song. Her best friend, Robin Snyder, had been married to Kim Anderson, who was a Warner Brothers executive, and she got cancer. And Stevie found out about that right as the Belladonna was being released. And Robin was pregnant, and she had the baby, and then she died. And in her grief, Stevie decided that the best thing to do would be to marry the widower and raise the child.
Oh, Sorry.
Stevie was doing drugs then, just so you know.
I mean, at face value, that is an incredible sentiment. It's beautiful.
Right. Absolutely. And you can, can you just, imagine the trauma and heartache that is going through both of them at the same time, and they're trying to cope with their grief. And so they get married, and they're driving up to Santa Barbara for their honeymoon, and Little Red Corvette comes on the radio. And it's the first time Stevie's heard it, and she's just going nuts over the song, and starts, according to her, she starts singing Stand Back to the melody of Little Red Corvette. And so they pull over and they get a tape deck, and they get, they buy the album, and they go to their honeymoon, and she spends all night like rewinding and recording Stand Back. And then they go right back to Los Angeles and they start recording the song. And she calls Prince and says, listen, I wrote this over a Little Red Corvette, come down and listen to it. And he does, and he gives her his blessing, and he plays the synthesizer on the album, on the track.
In a way that no human being has ever been able to recreate, according to lots of
Yes. Yes. So, and I'm sorry, I can totally hear Stand Back in Little Red Corvette.
I'm like, Little Red Corvette is dee, dee, dee. It's slower, and this is like, so I do not hear it. So you'll
well, I will definitely help you. That might be another PSA, and we'll do like, are you Little Red Corvette Stand Back challenged? This course is for you.
I can hear.
Oh God!
I can hear Edge of Midnight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then you're not at stage 2 yet. You're just at stage 1, and we're gonna have to get Sally Struthers back to do another telethon. Clearly, but yeah, I mean this song is just, it's high energy, and they filmed 2 videos.
Rebellious. It's like, I don't need you to tell you who I am. I'm deciding it myself. And it gives one of the best drag king names ever. And it makes me mad that no drag king has used it yet. Justin Invitation. Perfect.
Justin Invitation would have been just fine.
Would have been just fine.
So somebody out there better do it. Send in the photos, and we will certainly credit you.
Yes.
I think that would be so awesome.
Yes. This is Angry Stevie at its best. It's an anthem. It should have been, in a way, I was a little disappointed it wasn't bigger. That it should have been a song of the summer. It was a song of the summer. It wasn't it had a lot of competition. And that was punk and new wave was kind of, Sweet Dreams was the same year. So the synthesizers, I think, were Stevie's way of going, look, I'm on the trend, but it's not the same kind of song. It's almost like we were saying, it's another, is it a rock song? I don't think so. Is it a new wave song? I don't think so. What kind of song is it? It's just a Stevie Nicks song.
Right. And it has one of her most iconic videos, which almost didn't happen. Because they filmed a Civil War themed video to this.
Thank God she's crazy and thought she looked fat in that, because she was trying to do the 90s thing, all the people in the punk rock clothes, the new wave clothes, and the braid. That video was part of what made me realize how much I loved her,
Right. Yeah. That peach dress that she whirls around in while she's dancing. Right. But here's the thing. I don't think she thought she was fat. Here's what I think happened, because I think that she and Jimmy Iovine and the whole company, as soon as it was done, looked at it and realized that the theme did not fit the song at all. They were incongruous. And so they scrapped it. And it was the director going around saying, well, she scrapped the video because she thought she was fat. And I think it was sour grapes on the part of the director, because I don't think that Stevie, number one, would have thought she was fat, and number two, she certainly didn't look that way.
Yeah.
So we also got Stevie's favorite backup dancer, Brad Jeffries, made his debut with her.
I always thought that was superfluous. Like, what are we doing this for?
Yeah. But
she liked it.
Yeah, she did. She did. And it was it's just a fun dance video. Uh,
And
and
this
which
is a high point
character?
of her live performances of
Yeah,
her solo songs. The crowd
yes,
gets whooped up, and it now I know I can be standing in it. I could have been standing
yes.
thanks to the
You
library.
could be standing in it. Uh, can we talk about wardrobe for a minute? Stand back cape.
Right. Okay, so when did you realize that Stevie Nicks has a different cape for different songs? There's a belladonna cape, there's a wild heart cape, there's a stand back cape, there's a Sarah cape, which I don't think gets out of the trunk much.
Right.
When did you
Um,
realize that she has those like specifically defined capes?
I think the first time was when I saw the Belladonna concert, because she had the big white Edge of 17 cape and the Belladonna cape, and which was worn for Goldust Woman. Um, and
Well,
I
that's
think
what I'm
that's
saying. And I just thought she would be like, "Oh, I'm going to wear a cape. Let me grab one." But then I
right,
realized
right.
later it's like, "Oh, this one's for this, and that one's for
Hmm.
that."
Yes, and the stand back cape is probably her most iconic.
And
And
we'll put a
here,
picture. I'll edit a picture in for folks.
yeah. Here's a little bit of trivia. Do you know that particular design made its debut in a Fleetwood Mac show before it became the stand back cape?
What did she wear perform?
Okay, so when Mick Fleetwood wrote his tell-all book in the 90s, right? And I devoured it, and there were all these photos. And there's a photo of Stevie and Lindsay performing during the Tusk tour, and she's wearing the stand back cape. And I could not process that information, and I needed to know what song it was. And this was before the internet. Thanks, Al. Uh,
Al,
and
we need
so
to know something. Get in here.
so it took me years, and finally somebody told
Out the
me,
yard. Sorry.
right. Somebody told me it was she used to wear it for Sisters of the Moon during the Tusk tour.
Makes sense.
And I kind of that kind of makes sense. But once it became the stand back cape, it was the stand back cape forever. It has never been. She never wears it for anything else. And as soon as that song is off, that cape comes off. I mean, it is just there for that particular song.
And we will have an episode in the future for y'all where we talk about these capes more.
Yes, we will.
Here's a spoiler. That's all we're going to tell you. You have to wait.
Yes. But that was, if I noticed she had different capes for different songs, that was the song where I really understood and like made that connection, right?
Okay.
So
And I
yeah.
know we have to move on. And again, future episode alert. Handbags. That's all.
Yes.
Randy,
Off white.
what color is that paper in front of you?
Off white.
You
It's the
sure?
color that I like.
Oh, I don't know. It looks like bone. And I don't like
I
bone.
don't no bone. I don't want
Audience
bone.
confusion ensues.
Okay, so here now we're at the obligatory Tom Petty duet.
Well, this is the corollary to the Seinfeldishness of the album. I forgot this song existed.
Okay, well, that
When it
kind of
came on,
tracks
I
with
was like,
how it,
oh.
yeah, huh? Yeah,
Yeah, Tom Petty had wrote a song on this album.
yeah.
Interesting.
And he wrote it specifically for Stevie for
Okay.
this album. And I listened to it and I'm like, of all the Tom Petty collaborations, this is absolutely at the bottom of the barrel, my least favorite. I mean,
love her vocal on it.
yes,
But yeah, that's about it.
yeah. I prefer Outside the Rain. I prefer Stop Dragging My Heart Around. They could have tossed Insider on this album and it would have fit. Like, I mean, it's just there. It's just filler. So moving on to another angry breakup song.
Yeah, more Angry Stevie, right up my alley.
Yes, right. And man, the title says it all. Nothing ever changes. And if you want, if you want a reason I'm walking away from this relationship, nothing ever changes.
You know it doesn't.
You know it doesn't. And that's exactly how the delivery for that is. It's high energy. It's okay, so I know it's not quite the same time period, but because of the saxophone in it, and I mean it's like crazy saxophonist on cocaine saxophone performance on
Okay.
this song. It makes me think of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome because they had that crazy saxophonist in that movie. And so that's what I think of.
My favorite part of it,
Yeah.
little boy.
Right. Oh man. You talk about a burn. That's where Carol
Karen,
needs
we need the
burn cream.
birthday.
Burn cream.
Is this for
Stat.
Lindsay? Is this an older? Is this still Lindsay, or do you think it's somebody else?
I think
Generic,
it's a
non-specific boyfriend.
yeah, pretty much insert boyfriend here. But I think almost all of the breakup songs on here are about Jimmy Iovine because they were, they were breaking up. She was getting married to Kim
Okay.
Anderson, and I
Oh,
think that's probably what you're seeing because I know the next song, which we'll hit on, is definitely about Jimmy Iovine. And apparently, I didn't know this, but while they were recording Mirage in France,
okay.
she she invited Jimmy Iovine out there to stay with her, and Lindsey Buckingham invited Carol Ann Harris to stay. And apparently, that got really testy really fast, and so they both had to go home. And I think somebody said that Lindsey and Jimmy actually almost got into blows because Jimmy was actually trying to help produce the album without being asked. Yeah.
That would have been awesome from my point of view, but I get
Right.
point of view.
Right.
To
Yeah.
Carolyn Harris, not Carolyn Brooks.
No, not our good friend Carolyn,
Brooks.
who makes an appearance on the final track. But so yeah, Sable on Blonde.
Something you don't touch because it hurts.
It hurts too much. Yeah.
Line of that song for me.
Yeah. Do you hold that dream in your hands each night? I mean, there's some definite longing. There's some, regret. Like you're gonna regret me.
This is obviously our personal where we're coming from because
Yeah.
what was it that fell? Because it's all on you.
Yeah.
So you tell me because I had nothing to do with this. Well, I think it was you, baby.
Oh no.
I think that it was you.
I think it was you, baby. I think the regret is not on her part. I think it's on the part.
She's schooling that person. She's
Yes.
like, come on.
Yeah.
And what happened? And then what happened? And
That's right.
Whose fault is this?
Right.
Let's see, ready. This is what she said. Come on, you got it.
It's like she's like an attorney leading the witness on the stand.
Exactly.
And for it to fade out with, I think it was you, baby. Over
and then, no, which is to me excellent shade on top of that.
Yeah. There's an outtake of this on the Wild Heart Deluxe with heavier piano that really makes me think of. I mean, it is like a kissing cousin to Brenda Russell. I think it's Brenda Russell that he plays piano in the dark.
Oh,
like that. Yeah, it sounds a lot like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'll put all of that on the blog, but it's really good. It's really good.
It's interesting because this song, Wild Heart and Gate and Garden, were all written in '82.
Yes.
No, but they're so high. What was your diet? What were you eating? I don't know. Or if it was the cocaine, then do some for another album, please, just for like 2 months and write some songs,
Well, she did that and we got Rock a Little, and we'll talk about that because that was the cocaine album. That was really the cocaine album. But before we get to the last song, and we haven't brought this up, which is why we need to stop talking before we start recording. This album is just steeped in luxury and like 1980s brandy snifters and cocaine and a little bit of sapphic love.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know it's so subtle. I don't know. And then here we are again. You've got the brandy sniffers, and you've got,
Yeah.
I mean, I just see them all, having this brandy cocaine party in Stevie's house while they're recording this album. And then the imagery of the photos, I think, is where people started to talk about some sapphic undertones, which I don't get, but other people do.
There's a quote from a John Waters movie that I so want to say, but I'm not going to.
We'll put it in the blog.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's part of the appeal of this album. Belladonna, it does not sound dated, and I don't think that this album sounds dated, but because I think that's a derogatory term, but I think it sounds very of the time, right?
Oh, I agree. Because Stand Back is a perfect example. That she wanted that synthesizer because it was of the time,
Right. Well, I also think that it's so synthesizer heavy because that was Sandy Stewart's instrument of choice. So if Sandy's going to play, we're going to have some synthesizer.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But
synthesizer,
all right.
I hardly know her. Wait, excuse me 1 second. I winked at it myself. Yeah.
You need to see a doctor about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you remember last week I talked about the Highwayman being a fairy tale? I was not. I mean, yes, that's a fairy tale. Stevie's like, you want a fairy tale?
Literally.
I'll give you a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a fairy tale. You want opera? I'm going to give you opera. You want
I don't
grand?
know. Again, define this song. I defy you to categorize this song. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, I absolutely. It is operatic. It is
all of it. Yeah.
Conceptual. It is up until you hear this song. There is no indication in any of her previous work that anybody's going to give her the opportunity to do something like this. Right. All right. Like you could put Rhiannon in front of an orchestra, you could put Landslide in front of an orchestra and have, but the whole song was built around an orchestra.
Right.
And
how long was this after Tusk?
This was 82. Tusk was 79.
I wonder if he was like, you're going to use a marching band?
Yeah. Well, interesting. This was demoed for Tusk. This song was demoed for Tusk. Yeah.
And
so and they didn't do it. Have you seen the film that inspired her to write this? The French film?
The old black and white.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And I hadn't seen it until maybe 2-3 years ago. But it's gorgeous. And it features our favorite background singer ever, Carolyn Brooks, who Anthony and I have met and had a lovely conversation with, which will work its way into the Anthony and Randy go to Dallas to see Stevie Nicks in 2016 and have a stand back shawl or something. And the episode title will be shorter then.
Stabby Jr. Forever.
Stabby Jr. Forever. But what a closer. I mean, it still takes my breath away. It's
gorgeous. I mean, I know she didn't play the orchestra. I don't know how much she was involved in saying more violin, less, but that's just, even without her voice, it's gorgeous from the very first, from the very beginning. The lyrics, I think this one and maybe Gate and Garden, like the lyrics are just so simple, but so powerful, beautiful at the same time. This construction of the song is like pure, beautiful poetry.
Well, and she starts out so fragile.
Right.
when it first, when the orchestra stops and it's just her and the piano, and her voice is so very fragile, and she's just got this, she's wounded and pleading, and as her as the lyrics get stronger, her voice gets stronger, the orchestra gets stronger, and it just builds and it builds and it builds. And I mean, she just hits the end of this and leaves everything there. And it says something about the power of her lyrics and the melody, that when she performs it in concert, there's no orchestra behind her.
Yeah.
And it is still just as powerful as it would be with an orchestra.
And
I
yeah,
go
similar
ahead.
to the last one. Who's the beauty? Who?
Right. Right.
But she's
Yeah.
forgiving. She's also very forgiving to whoever she's singing to with it, I never
Yeah.
doubted your beauty, and
Yeah.
all that.
And she almost, this is the one where I think she takes some of the responsibility for how
Yes.
things have turned out. Right.
Right.
And then says, I've changed, I've learned,
Right.
I've changed, I'm a different person. It's just,
I've changed because, what does she say? I'm looking to see if I can find it. Because I know she
I
said,
never,
"Now that you be I've changed," but I thought there was another part where she goes, "I've changed," and then she says something else. I can't find it though. Forget me.
no, I never doubted your beauty, I've changed. And then it goes into, who is the beauty, who is my beast.
Okay.
We come from different worlds, but we are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
There's a whole
just
line that's just the word "who," and I don't know why I've always loved that. I thought that.
right. That was inspired by the owls in her house.
You know what? I think I'm thinking of a live version, where I'm thinking of that other lyric with the other sentence.
If you know,
I'll
tell
look it up,
her.
put it in the blog.
Tell her now. Yeah.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
tell her now.
That was my first exposure to the song, was actually the Red Rocks video.
Oh,
I hadn't
okay.
heard the song before then. And so even that blew me away, right? Just blew me away.
This is my Red Rocks video impersonation.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to put a filter on them.
Additional photography. Just get some Vaseline and rub it on the lens of them. But yeah, that's a great way to, and I never get tired of listening to this song. I will never skip it. I will listen to every version of it.
Right.
And
it's unskippable.
no, it's the song that I learned how to play on the piano the best. Like, I learned how to play Sarah, and that's easy. But this, I struggled and really applied myself to it. But it's weird. I don't know how other people would hear it, because when I'm playing it and singing along, I hear the strings, I hear the harp, I hear all of it. And really, it's just me going clunk, 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 clunk. So it'd be interesting, because I can't get that out of my head, even when I'm listening to it.
I can hear the violins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Randy, as we close, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I am Thanos, and I'm going to snap my fingers. One side of this album never existed, and you never heard it. Which one do you keep?
How can you Sophie's Choice me like that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to say it has to be, I want to preserve side 2.
Okay. And I know you're not going to believe it, but I want to preserve side 1. Because I would be a different person without the Wild Heart song. And I don't want that. I like,
I agree with you. It
hurts me really bad.
But I think, I mean, you may see it that way, but I think that Stand Back would have still accomplished the same thing for you if you had only heard that. And I couldn't live without Stand Back and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, but you never knew. It doesn't hurt because you never knew they were there.
Right.
You don't long for them.
Yes. But yeah, that's a but it's interesting because this is the first album where we talk about filler.
Yeah.
But there were other songs that were recorded, including Violet and Blue, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Garbo, which is amazing. And Anthony's favorite unreleased song was recorded again for Wild Heart and didn't make it, Julia. But I don't like the Wild Heart take. Also, Sorcerer, and another really fun one that I like that's also very brandy cocaine sapphic is All the Beautiful Worlds. Um, so she still could have made the album, and there were some stronger contenders.
Again, another double album.
And another double album.
This
yeah,
time
for
I'm
sure.
surprised it wasn't double because she probably could have pulled it off after Belladonna
Yeah.
to get them to go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
But with
Yeah,
all that material, that would have been tremendous.
it
But
would have been.
it was nice. I enjoyed seeking and finding all those little gems on the movie soundtracks.
Yeah,
That was part of what I
it
liked.
was.
Yeah.
It was
And they were
really,
not throwaway. They were like, whoa.
yeah, yeah. And I liked that in this time period in the early 80s. I mean, you could not turn around without a Stevie Nicks song being somewhere between Tusk and Belladonna and Mirage and Wild Heart and all of the movie soundtrack songs. I mean, like she was everywhere. And people don't remember that. You talk about the immersion that Madonna had in pop culture, and that's great because she did. But
Yeah.
I mean, Stevie was like everywhere, and she had enough surplus songs to be able to do that.
And she
You
was
need
still
it?
cranking them out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you need a song for that thing? Here you go.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, so, and I can hear it. I don't know if anybody else can, but Marilyn Martin was singing backup for Stevie when she recorded Separate Lives with Phil Collins. And allegedly, Stevie's buried in the mix as a backing vocalist. But I don't know that that's true or not.
I believe we're going to say it's true.
Yeah, we're going to go with it.
One more comment about this album. I did not go and look on Belladonna's liner notes. I'll rely on you because you remember this stuff so well. The lyric sheet has a vamp section, VAMP.
Yes.
Is that a thing? Did Stevie invent that? Is that a thing across artists back then?
Well, I mean,
Or is that
vamping
her
is
saying, I'm not cutting this part off my album and it's not a chorus? I'm not cutting it out of the song, so we're just going to call it a vamp.
I think it's whatever poor kid was in charge of the Stevie Nicks fan club also had to transpose her lyrics or transcribe her lyrics to the lyric sheet, and was like, I don't know what the hell this is. Is it a verse? Is it a chorus? We're just going to call it a vamp. Is what I think. I think that's. But vamping a lot of times when you're doing live performances, if somebody's missing their cue or something and you vamp and you're stretching things out, waiting for right.
So
right, but you never
wondering in album liner notes, is vamp a thing or is this just Stevie going?
Only place I've ever seen it is on these liner notes. Okay. Ever.
She's like, when I'm done hand tinting, I'll tell you which parts are the vamp.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I didn't know what hand tinting was for the longest time when I was reading these. I thought Stevie was actually tinting her hands.
Oh, I think that's because she made that up also. I think.
Yeah.
She gave herself credit in the liner notes.
Right. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I think we're done for another week. This one was a good one.
So to our listening audience, you'll say,
until next time, we will see you on the other side of the mirror.
All right, said Alice.
All right. Bye, folks.